Hello everybody and welcome to one of the videos I get requested the most, and especially lately with everything in this ant room changing, it's something a lot of you will probably be curious about, because today we're talking about all of the ants I'm keeping in the beginning of 2024. Basically I have two corners with ants. I have the VIF section and I have the other VIF section, the vivarium over here, and the VIF. So yeah, let's just take a quick look around. So yesterday I finally, after having this incubator VIF here for like 2 months, I finally installed some light, and man, oh man, I've enjoyed it. I also went ahead and just put all the names. So just to say a quick list of what I'm keeping: Nomezer cockerelli, we have Polyus Dives in here. Then on the sideline here we have the first species that I'm not going to try to pronounce, Octontomachus. And then we have Octontomachus Sheffier. I need to realize how you say that. I haven't heard anyone else say it, so I don't know. Then we have Stignotoma, another name I haven't pronounced. Then we have Mimia fulvipas. Then we have Campot singularis, Manica rubida, Harvenitas venitas. We have Pareraclavata, Mimia brevinotor, and Torium bicarnatum. So that's all of the ants we have in the VIF. And then if we go over here to the other VIF where the singularis are here saying hello here, we have Campot singularis, Campot nigrensis, Harvenitas venitas, and Manica rubida. So I think we should just start by talking a little bit about the VIF here, because there's not too much to say regarding all my ants videos, because, well, most of you will know what the VIF is all about. The VIF is, of course, the massive 700-liter tank, multi-species, with a ton of different live animals and all of this. I don't know where the snake is at currently, but I saw it. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. We have a snake in there who's just chilling around. The heat lamp is... do any of you have experience with heat lamps? Because this one only survives like 2 weeks or something, and then it dies. You can see right here we have a singularis here and a singularis here. So the singularis are out in the big numbers, probably because it's feeding day. And usually when you start to look a little bit closer, you can also see the nicos moving around. The nicos and the singularis are the quite dominant force in here. I have some more nicos here. And how are all of these? Well, we have 3 singularis out. We have singularis there, a singularis there, and another singularis over there. It's really feeding day today. They are hungry. So one of the things we discovered in a previous video was the Manica rubida. We're building a tunnel around this section. I don't know if they're still active here. I haven't been keeping too close of an eye of it. It seems like it's fairly quiet here. We do have some interesting looking mite things and all of the different lights. This here is where the heat is the most active. There's the most heat right here. You can see the isopods are loving this. But yeah, the manicas, they have been located around right here at the heat for some time. I don't know if we can find any of them, but yeah, they're usually there are a lot of them out. I was just about to say we have one here, but that's a singularis. There's usually a lot of them out, but you have to look for them because they are quite small ants compared to everything else in here. So far, all of the 4 colonies living together in here is actually seeming to do quite well, with the singularis and the nicos literally talking together right as we speak here. I don't know what they are doing. It's looking interesting. It's only when there's feeding jelly, not feeding protein, but when feeding jelly, the nicos go crazy. They're sugar crazy. It's when there's sugar, they go crazy. But yeah, the manicas are seeming to do quite well. I see a lot of them, and I've been building nests multiple times. The singularis are doing quite well. The nicos are hard to tell. I think they're doing well, but it's hard to tell because I just put them in. And the venitas are very quiet, but when I see them, they seem to be doing well, because there's also Harvenitas venitas. I see them moving around, hunting in there. But of course, it's hard to tell what about in there, because I could keep going on as to all the things we have in there. I think we should look over here at the VIF. So if we just start here, I'm sorry it's a little bit messy, but if we just start here, these are of course the Nomezer cockerelli. I do want to say the reason I have this the light or the lenses here is because this has a slight warp, because they're getting to a point, of course, because it's weighed down, there's not really warping right now. But if I don't have this, it starts warping, and then the ants just start going out, which is not optimal. So that's why we have a little bit of lights or cameras lenses right here. But you can see here, this is the full Nomezer cockerelli setup. We have 3 version 2 ant farm supply nest, and we have a version 1 ant farm supply nest. We have an Esthetic ants outworlds, and we have Aesthetic ants white tongue nest, and they're a little bit all over the place right now. I want to expand the setup. I'm just trying to find out how. I also want to give them a new outworld because the outworld is well, it's not in a great condition. It's also cracked the other day. This crack just appeared from one day to the other. But yeah, as you can see, the colony here is seemingly doing quite well. But is that the full story, Holleufer? Well, yes and no. You can see here we have some members in here dragging around food. And to be honest, they are a lovely looking colony. They are lovely. But what you also can see is right now we have a little bit of brood here, but they are really having some sort of diapause. They have been heated before, and I'm changing how I'm heating them, so that may be the trigger for all of this. But you can see over here, this is kind of the last big generation of brood coming through. So we have a ton of brood here, and this is the last big generation. So after this, they're going to have a struggle a little bit. I'm heating this part of the nest, and of course the heat from the VIF is making sure that it's like 23 degrees in there. But ideally they should get a little bit more. But it's also weird because I'm heating this section, but it doesn't seem to change how they move around. So I would imagine that if it's hot here, they would stay more here, but they don't really. We also have the white-tongue nest here, and I don't know what to say about this. There's not really any brood or anything. We just have we have a ton of males, by the way, and the males and the workers are just kind of hanging out in here. So that's the Nomezer cockerel. It's one of my oldest colonies. It may actually be my oldest colony at this point, and it's a multi-different species or component setup, and I'm personally quite a big fan. Over here we have the Polyus Dives. This is a fully Ant setup, and I got this colony from Ant as well. And you can see here we have the magnetic feeding tray, and you can see the workers here are actually all waiting for food. This colony is a colony I thought had passed away almost because they were becoming very quiet, but suddenly they just made a big return. And if we just turn around, this here is the nest where they live in. So this is the lovely little weaved nest. There's almost always workers hanging out right in the nest entrance. Yeah, and now we have some right there. And although this nest isn't really growing much, the colony here is seeming to do very well. Because I can just see by the feeding response that whenever I feed them, there's a ton of workers coming out. But yeah, it's becoming harder and harder to look inside. And to be honest, I know it's not meant for you to be able to just look at the nest, but I thought it was cool that you could see it for a while. I don't know how many workers they have. I don't know how many any of my colonies have. I just look at the size overall. But they are doing well because they are seemingly becoming more and more active whenever I feed them. Let's go to the heated section of this area. So all of these colonies have somehow hit a Wakooshi wave where everything is just pretty much Wakooshi, which is both nice, but it's also, yeah, it's all matchy. And if we just go all the way from this side, what I really like about these founding Gen 4s, which they are called, which I couldn't say in the last episode because I didn't know, is, as you can see here, they're easy to move around. And this here is one of the only queens who really haven't settled down too much yet. As you can see, it is the Octontomachus, whatever that is called. And I think the reason she's not settling too much is because I've slightly overhydrated the gypsum in here. So you can see here it's very wet, and yeah, it's too wet. That's quite easy to say, and I think that's why she's a little bit unsure where to stay, because she's not really staying in there. But you can see she is a Trackdra ant queen, and she has some beautiful colors. She also has a larvae somewhere, but she's kind of moving around, and I guess the larvae is also around here. But she's a very beautiful queen, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her development. She's also quite an active queen, surprisingly, but they are this kind of semi-claustral as far as I know. And of course, that's where this setup is very nice for them. It's a big setup, but I think it should be all right because, well, for mostly what I've seen, semi-claustral queens generally don't really care about having big setups because they take care because they know that they need to clean it. So this is the first colony in the VIF. And then we have the next trapjaw, the Octontomachus Sheffier, something along those lines. Please correct me because I know you'll do either way. This here is also a beautiful little trapjaw queen, or not little, she's the second largest trapjaw queen in the world. And wow, with this macro lens I can actually see she's slightly red. I thought she was just black. As you can see, she's also a very beautiful species. By the way, let's just do a full round, hang on. So to just do a full little round, we have the Campot singularis here, and they were from the Ant Merchant. We have the Campot nicorensis, they were from Ant Davy. We have a singularis worker here. We have the Harvenitas, they were from Esthetic ants, and we have the Manica ribita from Ant Antics. By the way, discount codes and all of that will be shown in the description. Over here we have the Nomezer cockerelli, also from Ant Davy, and of course I said that the Ant Cube or the dice were from Ant Cube. Now the trapjaw here is from Ant Co, and the second trapjaw here is also from Ant Co. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some eggs soon. I mean, I'm not too bothered. Time will see how she gets along. I've had a little bit of soil in here, so hopefully if she likes it, she can sculpt a little bit around with it. And this is the thing here, I'm having a little bit hard time with the new gypsum here from Wakooshi to tell how humid it is, because I've hydrated this as much as the last nest, but the last nest was completely wet, and this looks fairly dry to me. But as you can see, she is a very beautiful queen which has a slight tint of red brownish to her, so very pretty species. Next we have a colony that already seems to be one of our channel favorites, even though I just showed the first unboxing of the video at the time of recording yesterday. But a lot of people seem to be hyped about these. These here are the Stigmatoma. Yeah, and they are from Ant HQ. Now this colony came with, I think, 1 larvae and 2 cocoons. And with the very smart coloring of the rocks I've added in here, it's actually hard to see where the cocoons are, if they are still here. I think they are here because I just connected up the test tube and they just moved in straight away. So yeah, these are Stigmatoma. Maybe they're hiding in this section here. And as far as I can tell, these are Gamergate. Yeah, there's a larvae right there. As far as I've been told, these are Gamergates. And well, only time will tell if they are fertile or not. But hopefully we'll start to see some new eggs in not too long. All right, but these are the Stigmatoma, and so far very little brood, but hopefully it'll get better. Next we have one of my personal favorites, even though I've only been keeping these for a few days as well. These are the Mimia fulvipes, also from Ant HQ. Now this was just a single queen when she arrived, and she is, as far as I see, still a single queen, which is not surprising. And yeah, I'm not too bothered about that. She's a beautiful golden-tailed fulvipes queen, and as you can see, a lot of people pointed out that she was a fulvipes, and yeah, I can't say anything but I agree. Look at that butt though. Wow, man, that's such a pretty species. And yeah, she's very active. I don't know if it's because she's still settling in, but she's constantly also walking around checking out everything. She's also a queen that just moved completely naturally into this Wakooshi founding Gen 4. I added the test tube, she just moved in here, boom. Which is just lovely because that shows that she prefers the nest compared to the test tube. And yeah, as you can see, she is just a beautiful species, man. Wow, she's pretty. I'm really looking forward to seeing her workers, and hopefully everything will go well. But for now, are you gonna clean a little bit here? Yeah, good girl. Do a little bit of cleaning. Yeah, who put that in there? Who put that in there? For now, she looks like a healthy queen, and not much to say other than I really hope that she performs well. All right, next is the Campot singularis. Now, as you know, there's a colony in there of singularis, but now we also have one in an artificial setup. Now, this colony came with, oh wow, that's also See, also again, the nest looked dry, so I gave all of them one more chamber of filling up, and this is another of these nests that's really overhydrated now. So yeah, it's you need to regulate your hydration when you get a new nest, and clearly some of them have got a little bit too much, but it's all right. Within a few weeks it's all good, and well, within 2 weeks or something it's all good. It's a little bit moist at the moment, but as you can see, the colony is not sitting out here, meaning they still prefer to be in here. They did have, oh wow, would you look at that? Would you look at that? The queen of laid an egg. Isn't that amazing? Oh, she's laid 1, 2, 3 eggs. I'm guessing they're probably carrying it because they don't want it to be at the gypsum. Yeah, that is completely down to my mistake. I have slightly overhydrated the setup. They brought it in again. Yesterday I saw a dead worker out here, but they've brought it inside the nest again. Those dum-dums. But yeah, this is of course the Campot singularis, also from Ant HQ. And when I moved her in, I was a little bit sketchy where the queen would come through, but she's been able to come through very easily. And I believe they came with 2 larvae or something, but they ate it pretty much the same day as they came. So they're clearly a little bit of shipping stress. I have found that they are a little bit sensitive to shipping, but you can also see we have a beautiful major right here. And overall, I mean, this is just a picture, man. None of them are moving around. They're an active colony. I can say one thing though. This is not the best setup for them. And I'm going to move them out of this setup simply because the singularis are so big that they can walk out. They're too tall, which I didn't know when I got them. So I will be moving them into a separate setup, I'll show later on. But yeah, this is the Campot singularis. Next here, we have the Manica ripita from Ant Antics. This here is Panigi, a queen that showed just not a few days ago. And as you can see, wow, she is just doing awesome. We have a ton of larvae, eggs as well, and brood. They're just everything with this colony is just flying at the moment. I got a little bit worried because after my update, people said that they've had hibernation issues when skipping hibernation. So I, of course, skipped hibernation. So let's see. Overall, this here is the Wakooshi modular range connected with a, well, it's a gypsum nest connected with a feeding module. And it's very sad. I dropped the nest and it sadly cracked before the ants were inside, But I can't even remember. Either way, it fell smack to the floor and cracked. So yeah, don't drop your gypsum nests. Luckily, it was months before I even moved the colony inside. This is a beautiful colony, I think. And to be honest, just look how active they are. Also, what's really cool is the size difference between these workers. I know Antimatter showed that he had some big workers. And I can really start to see the same. Some of these workers are just way bigger. And it doesn't look too weird here. But suddenly when you have huge workers out here feeding, I for a second sometimes think it's like the queen for a sec. Like, look at the size, look at that tiny dead worker. That may be an Analytic though, but still, that is insane. Also here, like that's some massive size differences and a beautiful colony. I will be updating their outworld to an outworld I'll show in a second, because at this point they are fairly hard to feed because they really want to get out. But this setup here worked wonders. I raised them in test tubes, and once they grew out of the test tubes, I added this, and it's been working very well. Next, we have one of my personal favorite colonies that are living in there, that I don't regret moving in there, but also I really miss them. It is the Harvenitas, and it is also a colony from Ant HQ. I just got them the other day, and I can't get this off. Here we are. So this here's the setup I wanted to talk about. This is the baby Gen 4 and the S1 Gen 4 outworld. So this is the setup. This is the outworld I'll be giving to the Manica. So if I have the gypsum nest over here, I'll be giving this to the Manica. So the Manica will lose that little round or the square outworld, and we'll get this outworld instead. And the singularis that were able to come out of the founding module or the founding Gen 4, they'll also get this setup because, well, there's a bigger lid. So yeah, I fed them some roaches the other day, and all three roaches were dragged in, and when I cleaned them, only 2 of them had been dragged out again. But you can see here that is, once again, it's one of my favorite species, man. They're not too expensive, and they're just beautiful, and they've already been clearing out the rocks. That's interesting. I added like all of these rocks and stuff like that, but they've all cleaned the rocks out, so it's only sand remaining. That's interesting. But you can see here that once more we're dealing with some beautiful ants. I think in my unboxing I saw 2 queens, but I know for a fact that there is 1 queen. But as you can see, currently they are without any sort of brood, which is also fairly normal. I've seen that before. When they ship, they stress. And well, last time I received the colony of Harvenitas Venezuela in there, they also arrived with single brood, and they did very well. It just took a little while. So yeah, it's a colony that I'm not live feeding them. I'm not live feeding any of my ants at the moment. I'm pre-killing food and giving it to them, and they're just taking it like live food. So it's not a colony that needs to be live fed. If you want some to make sure they actually get the food, if you just cut the hot head of a roach and not cut it down the middle, you can see here I've cut it down the middle. That turns off the nerves because I don't like to see them wiggle around. But of course, if you have hunting ants that you want to see, and you want to see the ants hunt, if you just cut the head off a roach, the body will still move around and wiggle, and that way the ants will still take it down like normal prey. Is that the queen right there? Yes, that is one of the queens, at least one. So yeah, we have one of the queens here, and you can see that is because you can see those wing scars on her back. They have those. Yeah, it's hard to show when she's not looking for correctly. Yeah, there we are. There's these wing scars on the side, on the back, on the middle part of the ant. So yeah, a personal favorite, and I'm really looking forward to getting the Johnnies back, all of the larvae, and having all of the fun with that. And again, what I like with all of these setups is it's so easy to just pick them up and go back and put them in the viv. And even though this is a huge setup, it's still the same principle that you can just pick it up here and move it out and move it around. So these are all in one setups, and this is a queen that I just finally moved in this, and I think she's gonna stress a lot when I remove this, but either way, let's see how she is. No, it's not bad. It is the infamous Pareraclavata, a colony from Ant Co, and here we have her, the infamous bullet ant. Would you look at that? She's a red species. They come in a few different variants. Some are red, some are black, some are very red, some are very black. And she's quite red. She's a little bit black towards the end, but she's quite red. She was very skitty yesterday when I looked at her, but today she seems a lot more calm, so that's very nice. You can see she's an absolute beauty. And talking with other people keeping this species, it's going to be like half a year until, if everything goes well, we get the first worker. The egg time is around 2 months, the same with the larvae, it's the same with the pupae, so it's a 6 months process from laying eggs, pretty much. So I'm really looking forward to keeping her, seeing what's up and down with her, but you can see she is a gentle giant, and she is, of course, also, she's huge. I mean, she's, I don't know how long, but she is a very big species. And you can see I've given her quite a large nest. And again, it's because talking with other people who have similar experience in keeping them have let me know that this nest is working very well. I've once again added some dirt just so she can move around and chill out. And you can see she's now reacting a little bit to the light perhaps. She's becoming more active. She just sat still for almost an entire day when I got her, but she's becoming a lot more active. And again, this is a colony from Ant Antics. Now I'm going to put this back because I don't want her to stress and go all out. I don't really know what happened here. I'm a little bit, I don't understand, because I don't understand why there's heat difference, why we have humidity here. But either way, it's the Pareraclavata, and it is in the Wakooshi Bulland setup. Next, we have yet another Bulland setup, this time with an actual Bulland inside, the Mimia brevinota. Another colony from Ant Antics, and in here we have the beautiful Brittany queen. Yeah, she's one of the few queens I've actually named currently. And this here's Brittany. As you can see, she has 4 quite large larvae, and they've just survived for such a long time. And I'm really hoping that this will be her first successful generation. We'll just have to wait and see. She is a very active queen, although she's mostly in her setup here. But whenever I feed her, she is becoming very active. Now, later today, I will do a live stream, which probably came out yesterday at the time you're watching this. So if you go ahead and watch that live stream, I'm feeding her, and you can see how crazy she is for sugar, because I can tell you already now, she's going crazy with sugar. Would you look at that beautiful color, man? She is a beautiful and very large queen, and so far of keeping her, every time the larvae grows very big and they're about to spin their cocoons, they die, or she kills them, or they disappear. Something, I think she eats them probably because they maybe die or something. I would expect these larvae to have about, if you look at the size of her, of course the larvae is not going to be the same size, but about a week or something remaining, hopefully 2 weeks. And then we should hopefully see some cocoons beginning to spin. I'm also going to see if I can dry the setup out just a little bit more, because it is a little bit wet, it's a little bit humid. And yeah, I would rather have it a little bit more on the dry side. I'm feeding her twice a week, and once again I'm pre-killing the food. And what I do is I pretty much chop up a roach and just drop it in the tube. She walks over and it's annoying and she drags us in. So even though she's a Bulland, I never live feed her. I always pre-kill the food for her, and she's clearly doing fine with it, because she's been alive for like a year or something. I do believe this is her, at least her 3rd generation of larvae now. The first failed, the second failed, and I don't know if it's the 3rd or 4th, but I think it's the 3rd generation. And she's always hanging out in this chamber. She's always in this chamber, and that also shows me that perhaps it's a little bit too humid, because the further away from the humidity access point, the drier it slowly gets. Not that there's a major difference, but I do believe it's a little bit more dry here than here. And as you can see, she's just a beautiful queen. She is one of my personal favorites, and I'm really looking forward to getting a red lid, because with the light I've now installed in the Viv, I can look at the ants so much better. Like from here, I can look at all of the ants, and the Clavata and the Bulland with that lid is just not as fun. So I'm gonna get a red lid for her just so I can see her a little bit better. She is very stubborn. She's not really, as you can see, she's not at all responding to vibrations or light. She's very casual and a lovely queen. Finally, we have the Tetramorium bicarinatum, a colony from Ant Antics. And they're currently living in an S3 outworld and a Wakooshi modular range here. And if you are in Denmark and you want this colony, please reach out, because I think this is one of the colonies I'm going to let go. Because the maintenance side is fairly annoying. They are often wanting to escape, and it doesn't take too long to maintain them. But when you have a lot of colonies, and I find a lot of them very cool, they're sadly become a little bit of a down prioritized, this colony. As you can see here from the brood, this colony I've just done an update on, where they have weird trash in the Egyptian nest, which is strange. This red dot is also still here. But looking at the brood, like I also showed in the update the other day, they have a ton of brood here. Coming in here, it's just brood madness everywhere. There's just brood up here, brood down there. And it's just insane amount of brood. It's not like a small amount of brood, it's an insane amount of brood. So they're really about to completely and utterly explode. I'm feeding them a ton more than usual, and it really seems to be working. You can even see brood in here. And if we zoom in, there's also queens everywhere. You have, yeah, just in this clip, how many queens? We have 1, 2, 3, 5 queens or something. Some of them with wings, some of them without wings. And no matter where you look, this colony is just doing amazingly. I do really like them. I really like them. I feel like they're such a cool species with the inbreeding and the amount of brood, but they're just so annoying to maintain. The problem is I haven't found any barrier that works, no matter what kind of barrier I use. I applied a barrier 2 days ago. Bro's just chilling here like it doesn't matter. And that barrier got crossed 2 days ago. Last week I recorded the video where I showed them, where I just applied another barrier that also didn't work. And you can see they're just walking all over the place. And when you then remove the lid, they're just coming out. So they're fairly annoying for me to keep. If you have, I would really like to get some inputs. I think because of the annoyance of cleaning them, not necessarily cleaning, I don't have anything, I have something against the lid. Because of that, I may be selling these or giving them away to some Danish people. So yeah, if you really love them, give me some tips and maybe I'll keep them. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really love looking at this. I love the brood. It's just something when a colony is doing well that's just extraordinarily lovely to look at. But yeah, that has been a video about all the ants I currently keep. I just want to say a few things regarding the Viv here. So if it's something you want to hear, I'll make a dedicated video where I'm explaining a little bit more about it. And I've just installed these lights, which is amazing because now I can actually look at the ants. Again, when you have these sensors, be sure to always get multiple sensors from multiple brands because it really makes a difference. 23.8, 25, 25.9, and it's meant to be at 26. So, I mean, it should be all right. The sensor is right here, of course. Never put the It's a better idea to put a sensor at the top than at the bottom because heat raises up, so it's a lot warmer compared to if you have the sensor at the top. Well, the overall should be, yeah, it's a more consistent thing, from my opinion at least, to have the sensor at the top. But I think I'll make a dedicated video about Vivs in the future. I just really enjoy now that I have light to see Harvenitas being out having fun, Semic being out having fun, singularis are out, Fulipes. Can't see her. I don't know if she's out or not. She's probably not out then, and yeah, it's a joy following all of the different ant colonies. And with that, I do want to say some final things. A lot of you people will definitely be asking about where is the Campot diversa? Where are the fire ants? Where are the leafcutter ants? Where are the metabarbars? So to just quickly round up, all the ants you have questions about that you haven't seen, I do no longer keep, and that's the end of the story. The big metabarbars colony was sold to a Danish guy. The big other Mexicana colony who lived here was given to a zoo, and both my fire ant queens, I've had 2 now, and both of the queens have died. The one queen died early on, the other queen was doing extremely well, and suddenly all the brood stopped. I didn't see any eggs, I didn't see any larvae, and I realized that the other queen had also died. So both my attempts, the queen have just randomly popped off and died. I've kept Campot diversa as well, and the same with them, they sadly didn't make it. The queen died one by one because I was dumb with moving them too soon and I did some few things wrong. But also I think this is going to be a game changer for the hard species. I'm keeping a lot of species in here who are relatively difficult to keep, I would say myself. I mean, not for me, to be honest, they're not difficult to keep, but the overall growth is just slow. Well, I can't say I don't have any successful colonies, so I guess they are difficult, but yeah, for me, I'm doing nothing special except I'm keeping them in a Viv, and I think I'll make a dedicated video about a Viv because I think this here is a game changer for ant keeping this year. I mean, it started a lot last year with a lot of private people getting them, but this year I think this is going to be the thing for this year. But with that being said, that has been a video of all my ants 2024 start. I'm going to move to a new apartment very soon, so this will be one of the last times I went in 2 months. So this will have to be relocated to my new apartment. I love that you can see the singularis. They're lovely species. And this as well, this is a lot easier. But this is also going to be moved. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all very much for watching this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get a comment down below what you think of my ants at the moment. And yeah, catch you all in the next video. Bye!